On today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die? First reactions just came out, and some are saying it might be the best of the franchise so far. IMAX has committed to at least a limited release of the new Francis Ford Coppola movie Megalopolis, regardless of who the distributor is. Also, Donnie Yen, remember his character Caine from John Wick? They've just announced they've greenlit a spin-off movie for him. That's going to start filming in 2025. Fantastic Four adds an Emmy-nominated actress in Natasha Lyonne. And Furiosa, the embargo has lifted, the reviews are out, and they are good. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name, of course, is John Campea. I'm joined in studio by Ray Ora.
What's up, Holmes?
Jonathan Voico.
Hello, everybody.
Writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett.
Hey, imagination connoisseurs.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Your time is valuable. So let's dive right into it, shall we? Jonathan, what do we got up first?
Oh, up first, we got the fourth installment of the Bad Boys franchise. Doesn't come out until June 6th, of course. But a number of screenings for the film took place last night, and the first reactions are out. Some seem to love the new film. Some even suggest it might be the best one yet. John, what do you make of the Bad Boy reactions?
I got to tell you, they're really strong. They're like, I was reading over them, and they're really, really good. Now look, first reactions, we've talked about this before, right? When the review embargo isn't lifted and you can just make a quick first reaction, you got like one tweet you can put out, you tend to focus more on the positive. Now, more times than not, the full reviews do line up with the early reactions, you know, like Madam Web. Those lined up. Furiosa, the early reactions for Furiosa have lined up with the actual full reviews. We'll talk about Furiosa a little bit later. But every once in a while, they're really different. Like the new Ryan Reynolds film, If, got really strong first reactions, but right down the middle, full reviews, right? So most of the time they're right on. Sometimes not so much. So keep that in mind as we read through some of these first reactions to Bad Boys Ride or Die. They're very good. We're going to start off with our friend Brandon Davis, who writes, Bad Boys Ride or Die is phenomenal. I love the Bad Boys franchise. This one raised every bar. It's nonstop hilarious, innovative action beats, so much chemistry with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. The best time I've had at the movies in a while. That's coming from Brandon Davis. Absolutely loved it. Ryan's wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a delight. Drew Taylor wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a total blast. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are still great at busting each other's balls. The new mystery is compelling. Eric Dane is a great baddie. And Adil and, I always mispronounce their names, Bilal's action sequences are loaded with inventive staging and camera work. Bad Boys forever. All right. There was one I found that was not so positive from Russ Milheim, who wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die, sadly, not the movie for me. But, remember, this is coming from somebody who didn't like it. It seems lots of fans of the franchise will enjoy it, and the audience I watched the movie with were having a blast. So he's saying, I didn't like it, but everybody around me seemed to be liking it. Bill Bria wrote, Bad Boys Ride or Die is a total blast. It's crazy how Adil and Bilali have tapped into the strong emotional core of this series without sacrificing any of its insane fun. Smith and Lawrence bring their A game. The supporting cast step it way up. Reggie and shit blows up real good. And basically, it just goes on and on and on. A lot of the reviews or the reactions reading saying I thought 3 was the best and this is better than 3. And saying, I thought 2nd was the best, and this might be better than the 2nd. So look, I'm going to admit, I'm not the biggest Bad Boys fan. I like them. I really had a good time with 3. 3 was actually my personal favorite. I had a blast with 3. And I'm looking forward to 4. But listen, reading these types of first reactions is exactly the kind of reactions I think that Bad Boys fans wanted to hear. The chemistry is still there. It's funny. The action is great. And everybody had a blast. What more can you ask for from a franchise called Bad Boys? Now, the one question that I think is going to be on everybody's mind. While we already did have Emancipation with Will Smith following the Oscar slap heard around the world, and that obviously suffered a lot because of that, this is really the first big outing for Will Smith on the big screen in the years that have followed since the Oscar slap. Now, I contend that Will Smith should have faced consequences for his actions, and that he did. take consequences for his actions. He lost out on a number of projects. He was globally, publicly humiliated in front of the entire planet. And he lost out on a lot of money. And it was a couple of years ago. And it's time for him to move on. It's time for the audience to move on. And let's get back to enjoying Will Smith in the movies again. Now, not everybody's going to feel that way, Rob. And I do wonder if the box office might still suffer a little bit from that. But I think the time has passed. I think we are well past that now. I think it's time for Will Smith to get back to what he's doing. Anyway, you're hearing these first reactions. What do you think about them? Are you excited about the movie? And is the movie-going audience ready to go back and see Will Smith again?
Well, first of all, I like this franchise as well. I think Bad Boys 2 might be the most gloriously overblown, overproduced movie I've ever seen, and I loved it. And, I like to see these two directors come back. They directed Batgirl, that was shelved.
Yep, it was good to see them come back.
They did Bad Boys for Life.
They did a bunch of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, they did some Miss Marvel, and I like to see their careers moved back on track. I think that's great. And this is a franchise. Look, man, I miss that buddy cop action comedy that was popularized in the 80s, and this is kind of a remnant of that. It's still chugging along, so I love to see that. I'm hoping Axel Foley will come back and also be as good as this seems to be, or people like it as much. I hope so. But as far as Will Smith goes, I got to say, dude, I love Will Smith. I've always loved Will Smith. I've loved him as a screen presence, whether he was in Independence Day or Enemy for the State or, movies like was it 7 Pounds? What was it? He's done a lot of things dramatically that I thought was great. And I don't think any man, first of all, the assault heard around the world, you don't escape that. Like you said, he suffered. And then what went on with his wife and how he had to have his marriage laid bare for the world to hear about. I don't think any star of his magnitude or caliber, and he is a tremendous actor, he's an
Oscar winner.
And has had to deal with, call it public humiliation in the town square. I mean, it wasn't exactly Cersei Lannister walking nude, having feces thrown at her when people are going shame.
In a way, it was worse because she never had cameras on her for everybody else in all the kingdoms to watch it happen.
Around the world.
Will Smith did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love seeing this. I want Will Smith to come back. I think he deserves it. And I think, our justice system is based on the idea that when you have served your time and you have done what it is you are required to do, that you get to start again. And we're not so good about doing that. And I think Will Smith deserves it. And, you can be cynical all you want about, Hollywood stars, but he's a man too. And I think he's a great performer and he brings a lot of joy, at least to my life and to a lot of other people's lives. So you go, Will Smith. I hope Bad Boys Ride or Die rides forever.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this a lot. And I think he's got to be given a chance to come back now. I think he's paid the price. He paid a hefty price now. But I got to comment on this. Somebody in the live chat, I lost who said it, but somebody in the live chat said, I think the Oscars banning him for 10 years was overkill. No, it wasn't. Let me bring it a little bit more down grounded, a little bit more to home. If I have a throw party for my wife Ann here at the house for her birthday, right? And you're one of our invited guests, and you go up and you physically assault one of my other invited guests, you're not only never coming back to my house, you're getting the shit kicked out of you before you leave.
Yeah.
Like you attack one of my guests at my house, forget a 10-year ban. You and me are, what was Tom Hatherford say? Dunzo. You and me are dunzo. I honestly listen.
You play hockey.
Yeah. Yes. The Oscars banning him for 10 years for going in front of a global audience, humiliating their show, going up on stage and attacking one of the presenters. Listen, 10-year ban is light. That is light. And again, I don't think he should be banned from movies. I'm glad he's coming back, and I'm excited to see Bad Boys 4. But yeah, 10-year ban from the Oscars was not light. Anyway, with that down, guys, let's move on to our next topic here, shall we? Jonathan, what do we got up next?
All right. The upcoming Francis Ford Coppola film Megalopolis still hasn't secured a distributor, but at Caine, IMAX CEO Rich Gelfand has made a commitment to Coppola that his film will receive at least a limited release on IMAX screens, regardless of who the distributor is. From IndieWire, the movie premieres Thursday night. We need to do more research, said Gelfand. But the movie will play on to cinephiles and Coppola fans. Rob, does the IMAX commitment help Megalopolis' chances of getting a distributor?
I think so. I mean, really, it's going to come down to how is it received at Cannes? What kind of a movie is it? I mean, I love Francis Ford Coppola, and obviously he's made four of the greatest movies I think ever made in the Godfather movies, The Conversation, Apocalypse Now, and then a lot of other movies I love. They just re-released one from the heart on 4K. I love Rumblefish, which celebrated its 40th anniversary last year. I mean, the guy deserves it, and this is a lifelong passion project that he financed himself. So I want to see it on IMAX, and I think it does help. He's got European distribution. Let's see if he gets distribution in America. I mean, he deserves it. This is a dream project he's wanted to make for decades. Now I hope it's good.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Hoping it's good. Because as much as all of us got excited about hearing the maestro, Francis Ford Coppola, was coming back doing this passion project of his, paid for a lot of the film himself, we've all been cheering for it. But there is a harsh reality, and
Yep.
I hate having to bring it up, but you have to bring it up. It's screened for a lot of distributors, and this was not coming from Gus's gas station movie reviews.far. Coming from the major trades, the word is from all the distributors, this is not a good movie. And it's one of the phrases was it's problematic. Like, not problematic as there's offensive thing. Problematic is, I don't know how you even market this. I don't know how we sell this to an audience, all that kind of stuff. And there's been a lot of doubt lately that this movie is even going to be able to pick up a distributor. Here's the thing, though. I think getting this commitment from IMAX, who only committed to say limited for now, they said limited release until we see what happens. I think this is all a play to try to attract a distributor, because you get IMAX saying they support your film. That becomes attractive, I think. That becomes a selling point to a potential distributor. Want to know how important IMAX and an IMAX effect might be? Take a look at this. Last year, over $1 billion in box office in 2023 came in IMAX, and that matched their pre-pandemic record. Forget this is getting more than getting back on their feet. IMAX screens accounted for 20% of Oppenheimer's overall box office take. IMAX accounted for 21% of Dune 2's box office take. And already this year, this quarter alone, IMAX has accounted for almost 6% of all of 2024's first quarter box office, making it their highest market share quarter ever. The importance of IMAX to the industry is a growing thing. The importance of what they bring and that the name brings. So, how much of this was legit them saying, we really believe in Megalopolis? I don't know. But I think just the appearance of it, the optics of it, saying, hey, Megalopolis, we're partnering with IMAX. If there is a distributor that is on the fence maybe about picking up this movie, this, Rob, I think maybe could be the thing that pushes it over and says, okay, we'll pick it up. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that just me being theorizing too much, or do you think there's still validity to that?
I don't think you're theorizing at all too much, because like you said, if you look at Oppenheimer's box office, 20% of its box office is what, $180 million?
Almost $200 million.
Almost $200 million. I mean, there you go. That is not chump change. And for a movie like this, look, if Coppola self-financed most of this film, a distributor would only have to really distribute it and then marketing costs or whatever. So I'm not saying that this movie's going to do Oppenheimer business, but even if they just marketed it to IMAX theaters and made it an IMAX event, that could go a long way if the film, because I think that if nothing else, as long as this movie is interesting and compelling and it's something unique, you could build on that for your audience expectation. To go to an IMAX theater, it's an event. It's an event, not everybody has to love every piece of art that comes out from a filmmaker, but this could be the last film Coppola ever makes. And from that perspective, the end of a master's career, a dream finally realized. There's a lot about this story, and then you have the film to watch that people can
make up their own. But is it any good?
Well,
that's
people
the problem,
make up their own,
right?
but that's therein lies the rub. I mean, it has to be something that at least is polarizing, that can get people to go, and is it good? You decide.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they do that, but yes, I think it could definitely change the fortunes. And by the way, kudos to IMAX for offering it to them. to saying I'll be really curious to hear what the Caine audience thinks.
But I don't know this for sure, but I'm gonna throw this out there because I was talking with a buddy of mine this morning about this whole situation. The beauty of what the IMAX CEO just said is that it's very easy to walk back from.
Right.
Because like no distributor picks it up, you ain't gonna see Megalopolis on IMAX screens in North America. So I think it's all part of a plan because IMAX is just so relevant and so important, and they have that effect. So let's see how this all turns out. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3 here, shall we? Jonathan, what have we got up next?
Well, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Lionsgate is developing a John Wick spin-off movie around Donnie Yen's Caine assassin character. Yen will reprise his John Wick Chapter 4 role in the untitled project set to shoot in Hong Kong in 2025. The franchise-expanding film, with no director yet announced, will follow the events of John Wick 4 as Caine has been freed from his obligations to the High Table. John, is making a Caine spin-off the right move for Lionsgate?
No, it's not. It's not. And I know that's going to shock a lot of people. John, you love Donnie Yen. Yes, I do. John, you love the John Wick franchise. Yes, I do. John, you loved Donnie Yen in John Wick 4, and you loved that character. Yes, I did. But I don't think it's a good idea to make this movie. Look, Donnie Yen in another John Wick movie? Boom, sign me up. But if I'm a studio executive, here's the reality. The John Wick box office is one of the very rare franchises that has gone up and up and up and up with every outing. Not all franchises want to do that. Few can do it. But you see, John Wick went from number 1 at 86 million, nearly doubling in John Wick 2 to 174 million, almost doubling again in John Wick 3 to 328 million, and then having the best outing at the box office they ever had at 440 million. But the reality is, it's not a monster franchise. So can you do spin-offs of a franchise that's averaging about 275 million a film? I would even say that Ballerina may not be that good of an idea, except you got Ana de Armas, and from what we now know, it is practically John Wick 3.5, because Keanu Reeves is in a hell of a lot of that movie. John Wick is in a lot of the Ballerina. Okay, I think that justifies Ballerina. But unless you're going to do the same with Caine, I'm not sure this is a movie, as desperately as I want to see it. I'll be there opening day. I'll go see this movie 3 times in theaters. But I don't think I'm going to have a problem finding a seat. I just don't know that this is going to be one that will draw in a big audience. A spin-off of a side character that was in one of the movies in the franchise to a franchise that averages about 275 million a film. I'm dying to see it, but I don't know if I was an executive at Lionsgate that I would have greenlit this. I don't know, Rob, how do you see this?
Here's the thing. I agree with you. My first impulse is to agree with you. But John, if you found the right director and if you found the right story, this character, I think, because he is Donnie Yen, the Force is with him after all. And I think that
I'm one of the Force and the Force is with me.
And I think that if you gave him the right, I don't know what it would be, but it would have to be something unique to him, because look, I love Hong Kong action. It could be good. It could be even great. It could be an all-timer if you had the right people making it. If not, though, the dilution of the franchise is definitely a possibility.
The key is budget.
100%.
Well, yeah.
100%.
Budget will have to be a main thing about this.
Because even if, like you said, what's really interesting about the mathematics of movies? It's like when movies become successful, everybody gets paid more, and it balloons the budget, even though, and then what you have to actually make the movie isn't necessarily commensurate with how much you're paying people, and they're getting more and more fees. In this case, if they strip it back and figure out a way to make it like John Wick 1, make it for a little less money, and expect, okay, we're going to spend however much money and we expect to make $80 million. That could be a great thing. And it turns out worldwide they make 150, 160, 100. But you're absolutely right. You keep the money down, come up with a great story, start from scratch, try and build your own franchise. But if you're going to spend $200 million on a movie like this, you're screwed.
You're sunk.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I have no doubt they're going to be able, because, you know, Chad Stahelski is overseeing, he's shepherding this whole John Wick universe now. I have no doubt that they're going to be able to figure out a way to make this a really good, compelling movie. I just question their ability to sell it to the audience. But, I mean, to your point, if they come out, maybe they go have lunch with, who's the big horror guy right now?
Jason Blum.
Blum, yeah. They call up Chad Stahelski because Jason Blum will call. Can we have lunch? How do I make this movie, Jason, for $24 million?
Right.
Tell me how I can make this film for $24 million. You make this film for $24 million and your break-even point is like a $65 million global take, then you've got a business case. Yeah. Then you can do something. What were you going to say there, Ray?
Oh, no, I was saying I kind of wish it was an origin story instead. Not coming off of, as much as I want to see what happens after John Wick 4, I kind of wish I want to see his come up too.
But then it couldn't be him in it. Then it couldn't be Donnie Yen.
Oh, right.
And well, you know me with prequels. I would rather see what happens next. And who knows, maybe it becomes something that sets the table for John Wick 5.
Yeah, right? And we can delve into a part of the universe we haven't seen. Something, okay, the high table, but is there, for instance, like lean into the Asian elements of it? What, like is there a 10 Rings? Is there a different version of the high table, like something that came out of the ancient Chinese tradition?
No, the high table is a guy having tea on a carpet in the middle of the desert, remember? That's the high table. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like that aspect of it.
But we could do something else and go into the myth making and explore that universe more, because, you know, the Continental turned out to be better than I thought it would be.
I enjoyed the Continental.
You know,
I didn't think it was great, but I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. And then you've got Ballerina coming out, and if you figure out a way to, because you could tell all these different stories in this universe. But John, like you said, you don't want to dilute that franchise, because it's been consistent. And in terms of new IP, that's, people always ask me, well, what are the studios going to remake in 25 years? And I'm like, well, if you look at the John Wick universe, that's a franchise that's working, and that's an IP of our age, of our time. It's new.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think? I mean, look, the movie fan in us, obviously excited to see Donnie Yen in a John Wick spinoff. But from a business point of view, is this something that's going to get a lot of butts in the seats? Maybe yes, maybe no. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, listen, we still got to talk about Fantastic Four is on a casting streak. They've just added another impressive actor to their lineup, and Furiosa, the review embargo is up and it's looking good. But before we get to those things, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Miracle Made. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved the feel of them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. And thank you to our friends at Miracle Made for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 4 here today, shall we? Jonathan, what's up next?
All right, according to Deadline, Marvel Studios keeps adding to its all-star cast for its upcoming The Fantastic Four movie. As sources told Deadline, Emmy nominee Natasha Lyonne is set to join the highly anticipated Marvel pick. Obviously, Marvel Studios had no comment. Plot details are being kept under wraps, as are character details. Rob, do you like the addition of Lyonne to the cast?
Hell yes.
I know you
I
like her.
love her.
You like
Russian
her a lot.
doll. Oh man, what a savvy, sassy lady she is. Bring it on.
As for me, listen, I always say that it is never a mistake to add talent. Natasha Lyonne is one of the most talented people in the business right now. This lady right now has 5 Emmy nominations as an actor, as a writer, and as a producer. And not many performers can say this. She has acting Emmy Award nominations for 3 different shows. Like a lot of performers, they'll get Emmy nominations for a show that they do. Maybe they strike lightning in a bottle. Maybe 2. She's been nominated as a performer in 3 different shows. For the one she's got out right now, Poker Face, she was nominated for Best Lead Actress. For her work in
Russian Doll.
Russian Dolls, which she also got nominated as a writer for as well. And she's got a performing nomination Emmy for Orange is the New Black. Like she's that caliber of actress. So whenever you add talent like that, that's always a good thing. Now, is she a good fit for the role she's going to play? Well, we don't know what role she's going to play. They're keeping that under wraps, much like the John Malkovich situation, much like Paul Walter Hauser. They're not letting us know who they're playing yet. So, Rob, I wanted to throw it over to you. Like Natasha Lyonne, you love her, coming into Fantastic Four. Who could you see her? What are some of the big possibilities?
I mean,
of her
Ben
play?
Grimm's girlfriend. You know,
That's
we talked
been the
about
number
that.
one for most people, right?
That's what I can't imagine unless she's playing. I mean, that would be the obvious answer, but I got to tell you, I don't know unless she's playing somebody that has to do with the adversary. I mean, we know Galactus is in the film.
Right.
We know that Shalabal is in the movie. Maybe there's somebody else that we don't know that is a villainess of some kind. Because she's not exactly, the thing is, she's not exactly the most nurturing homebody presence. I mean, I see her as somebody who's a formidable, like I could see her as an adversary of some kind.
Right.
But I don't know who that is. You know, I don't think she's necessarily going to play another superheroine of some kind. I think she's going to be a thorn in someone's side.
She's going to be the landlord of the Baxter building.
There you go.
She's going to come a couple times in the movie. She's come knock on the door and go, rent? And then that, following in Marvel films traditions. I mean, look, one neat thing, the idea of her being Ben Grimm's girlfriend. Remember, the person I think that Paul Walter Hauser may be playing is Puppet Master. That just a theory, just a guess. But Ben Grimm's girlfriend is Puppet Master's stepdaughter. So it could lend more credence to that. Maybe yes, maybe no. But listen, this girl is just a terrific actress, and she brings a lot of charisma to the screen. Adding her in whatever role it's going to be can do nothing but good things for Fantastic Four. Question is for you guys. What do you think about her addition? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our 5th main topic here today, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up next?
Well, you'll remember that the first reactions to the new Mad Max film Furiosa came out a little while ago, and they were pretty solid. Now the official full reviews are out as the embargo has lifted, and it seems they fall in line with the first reactions as Furiosa currently holds a solid 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. John, what do you think of the reviews we're seeing?
I think they're great. They're really good. I mean, and they fall pretty much right in line with what the early reactions were, right? Because the early reactions were, it's bombastic, it's huge, it's a blast. Little thin on story was the common criticism. Some of the criticism was, it's not bad, but a little thin on the story that they bring into it. But just the visuals, the action, the characters are great. So now we go over and we take a look. And the Rotten Tomato score has gone up.
Ooh.
Since you wrote that out. It is now 87%.
Oh, man.
In there. It seems to be going in the right direction. And
Wow,
we're
it's
going to go down.
fake news.
So it became fake news. So let's go down and see what some of these critics are saying. Den of Geek is saying Furiosa shocked me repeatedly with its grotesque imagery, general brutality, and dream-like philosophical sequences. It's not that we haven't seen such things in other movies, but that it's hard to remember the last time we saw things done so well. That shelf wrote, Yet, if all this film does is remind us what a masterpiece Fury Road is, then perhaps that is enough. But on its own, as much as it's possible to divorce from what came just before, there's plenty to celebrate about the almost fabulous Furiosa. Mama's Geeky wrote, an epic revenge tale that boasts 2 incredible lead performances. The first half has some pacing issues, but once it goes full throttle, it never slows down. Slant Magazine wrote, the film attests to George Miller's enduring aptitude for utilizing the ridiculous to achieve the sublime. My friend Gregory Elwood writes, for all of Miller's auteur prowess, the luxury of a production design team with a larger canvas to build on, and a stunt team who often makes the impossible possible, Furiosa lives and dies on Anya Taylor-Joy's shoulders. Now, Critic's Notebook didn't like it. It's the first one we've got up here that didn't actually like it. They wrote, despite the excellent world building, it's essentially a series of action sequences ham-handedly strung together by a barely there plot. All right.
I'm actually not.
You mean like the Road Warrior?
I'm actually okay with that anyway. So.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too. New Musical Express wrote an extraordinary blockbuster juggernaut that in some sequences somehow excels even his predecessor. And Awards Radar writes, Furiosa Mad Max Saga sees George Miller painting on a bigger yet equally ambitious action canvas. So pretty much right in line with what we saw from the early reactions earlier, which is good to hear. Like most movies, it doesn't sound like it will be for everybody. But I'll tell you what, Rob, I'm going to go back to this again. And Ray, you were there.
All right.
We had a big presentation of Furiosa. And I was looking forward to it, but man, I'll tell you what, the presentation they showed us made me, took me into the legit excited to see this movie level. Now, I'm not expecting it to be better than Fury Road. I really hate it when we as film fans do that. I'm going to go see a crime movie. Well, is it better than The Godfather?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be better than Godfather. It just needs to be really good. And that's all I need. I don't need it to be better than Fury Road. I don't need it to be the best Mad Max film. I just want to go in there and see something that's a lot of fun, deepens the world even more, and gives us a better insight into these characters that we've been with. And I'll tell you what, this sounds like it delivers. What do you think about the reactions we're hearing? And where's your level of excitement for this movie right now?
My level of excitement's off the charts because, this is a franchise, again, that I've been watching in the theater since the very first movie in 79 with Mad Max and Road Warrior, a.k.a. Mad Max 2. And, I'll tell you something. In 1985, when Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome came out, it had more of a story, and I think people thought at the time it was a disappointment. I loved Anti-Entity. I loved Tina Turner. I loved all the everybody in Bartertown, all that stuff. And as the years have gone by, I've come to love Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome because everyone thought, was it going to be another Road Warrior? And Road Warrior was a stripped down thing. It was different. And I appreciated that. And I've appreciated it more over the years. So you hear these things, well, Furiosa is different than Fury Road. And I'm like, but that's okay. Whatever George Miller does with the whole world building, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla who runs Bartertown, whatever that is, I love it all. And I think that his vision for this is unlike anything else that's ever been put on screen by anybody. And it seems that most of these responses make me realize he's done the same thing. And you're going to like this better, worse. It's different. It's broken into chapters. There are chapter headings in this. So it's a different kind of a movie than Fury Road. I just want this unfiltered, unfettered George Miller world that I get to go into that's been around. And he's talking about making a final movie called The Wasteland, which, bring it on, dude. I mean, come on. I can't wait to see this movie. And it's got another Junkie XL score. Yeah. The only thing I'll miss, the only thing that's probably not in this movie, and nobody says,
I know what you're going to say.
The Doof Warrior.
Yep.
I want to see him shredding, dude.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew you were going to say that.
Damn.
But, I mean, look, this thing looks great. I hope it does well at the box office.
I think so.
I mean, for George Miller and the future of it, because I'd like to see another one, too. Hey, listen, by the way, George Miller, well, I thought it would never happen. George Miller was directly asked recently if he could do another Mad Max film with Tom Hardy and maybe Charlize Theron. Of course, infamously, the two of them got along like oil and water. They did not like each other on the set, which tells you how professional they are because they came across great on screen. But George Miller's recently asked that, and he says, all I'll say right now is never say never. It's like, Oh, so in my best Jim Carrey. So you're saying there's a chance. So I don't know. Maybe. Yes. No. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The reviews for Furiosa are really, really strong. Have you been excited for this movie? Maybe it's not for you. Do you like the reviews we're hearing? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, there's still a bunch of other things going on in the world of movies and TV and streaming and stuff like that we don't necessarily have time to devote full segments to, but we want to make sure you're caught up to date with a little segment we call In Other News. And we'll start off with this. Jim Jarmusch's got a new movie coming that he's doing with Adam Driver and Cate Blanchett. How cool is that? Also Charlotte Rampling, Tom Waits, and it's called Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. It's described by IndieWire as this. Father, Mother, Sister, Brother is described as an anthology film following 3 separate stories centered on strained relationships between adult children and their parents. Each of the trio of plot lines takes place in different countries. Father is set in Northeast US, Mother takes place in Dublin, Ireland, and Sister Brother is based in Paris, France. Look, you put Adam Driver and Cate Blanchett in a movie, you got my attention. Sounds good to me. Next, a brand new Halle Berry film that they debuted and showed us a bunch of it at CinemaCon this year called Never Let Go. It's like a supernatural thriller that the idea is this mother and her 2 sons live in this cabin in the woods and they cannot leave the cabin. And if they do, they got to make sure they're holding on to a rope that is connected to the cabin or else these monsters are going to get them. But you start to wonder, is the mom telling the kids the truth who have never been outside of this cabin? Or is she making things up? Anyway, the first trailer dropped for it. The stuff we saw at CinemaCon looked great. Make sure you guys go and check out the trailer for that. All right, next up, Handsome Hawk is coming into a jungle thriller called The Last of the Tribe. This is what they say about this thing. They're saying Hawk is set to play William Felon, a washed-out Chicago cop turned corporate gun for hire who finds himself in a wildly unfamiliar landscape. His assignment? The murder of the last surviving member of an uncontacted indigenous tribe. A broken man standing at an unlikely crossroads, Felon is given the chance to save a life and reclaim his lost soul. Look, you put Ethan Hawke in anything, even if you put him in a horror movie like The Black Phone, he always kills it. I think he's a 4-time Oscar nominee. This sounds great to me. I can't wait. All right, next up, The Witcher. Season 4 is coming without Henry Cavill, and we know Liam Hemsworth. Liam Neeson is The Witcher. Liam Hemsworth is now playing Geralt of Rivia. And I think Liam Hemsworth is a delightful dude. I've had a chance to sit down and talk to him for like 20 minutes. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. I really cheer for him, although I don't think he's the greatest actor. But the first images for him as Geralt of Rivia have come out. As you can see here, from a distance, I wouldn't be able to tell if that was Henry Cavill or not, except Henry's a little bit bigger, get a little chance of some combat and stuff like that, and him just resting along. The big question I have right now, there's 2. One, will he do a good job? Because like I said, as much as I like Liam Hemsworth, he hasn't really impressed me as a performer yet. But all actors can grow and get better. Second is this, season 3 of The Witcher wasn't the best. And now with them losing their star and bringing in somebody else, is anybody going to watch it? I'm not sure. We'll find out. All right, next up, one of the most delightful actresses in the business, Blake Lively, has got a new trailer out there from Variety. Says, "It ends with us." Just put out a trailer. Blake Lively falls for Justin Baldoni in romance novel adaptation. They describe it as this. The romance film is based on the best-selling novel written by Colleen Hoover. Lively stars as Lily, a small-town girl who moves to Boston to start her own business. There she meets Riley, a neurosurgeon finishing his residency, played by actor Baldoni. The two instantly hit it off, but are looking for different things. Here's where the twist is. It looks like it's going to be one of these standard romantic movies. She finds the guy of her dreams. This guy's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but then he becomes physically abusive. And there are few things that irritate me as more as men who lay hand on women. And it gets kind of there, and then it turns to a bit of a love triangle. It's realistic. I love Blake Lively. She's fantastic. So this looks interesting to me. All right. Finally, it's been rumored for a while. Happy Gilmore 2 is now official and is moving forward. It's coming to Netflix. They've announced it. They haven't said who's directing it, who all the cast will be. Obviously, Adam Sandler will be in there. Rob, did you know this? In 2 years, just 2 years, Happy Gilmore is going to be 30 years old.
Oh my God, I'm close to death, John.
Like in 2 years, that movie is going to be 30 years old.
So it's the Top Gun Maverick of the Happy Gilmore franchise.
Top Gun Maverick of the Happy Gilmore.
Is it going to be Happy Gilmore Maverick?
Now listen, this isn't a surprise, right? Drew Barrymore, remember about a month ago, kind of let it slip that Adam Sandler had showed her a script for Happy Gilmore 2. So we kind of knew it was coming, but now it's official. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming to Netflix. And that is all the things in other news. All right, guys. With that all down, we're now going to move over and start taking your live questions. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Cuts Clothing. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Cuts Clothing. Let's be real. Most guys would wear a t-shirt every day of their lives if we could. The problem is that most t-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or out on a hot date. Today's sponsor, Cuts, has finally changed that. Cuts t-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft that you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. Yeah, you heard that right. They are wrinkle-free. And for a limited time, you can save money while redefining the dress code by heading to cutsclothing.com and use the code Campea for 20% off. Guys, you know me, when it comes to clothing, my number one priority is comfort, and I could not believe just how comfortable my Cuts shirt was. It was light, it breathed, it felt like $1,000,000, and it made me feel like I looked like $1,000,000 too. And the best part? Cuts Clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe. So guys, for a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use the code Campea at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with the promo code Campea. Please support our show by telling them that the John Campea Show sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing. And thank you to our friends at Cuts Clothing for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your questions here, shall we? Jonathan, let's start with the super chats. What do we got up?
All right. First up, we got Robert, who says, I think Ben's Daredevil Matt will appear in Deadpool 3, but he and that universe dies, and that's why Elektra joins Wade and Logan.
Nah, that's reading too much into them being an important part of the plot. I don't think Jennifer Garner, who is like my forever celebrity crush, I actually don't think she's going to be in the movie that much. But I do think Ben will pop up. I don't know that he will. I would say probably more likely than not, but that's just a guess. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt says, Grandma said she was absolutely heartbroken at the end of John Wick 4. I gave her a little bit of optimism that he could possibly come back in a sequel.
I love this saga.
Yeah, the saga of the grandma who just discovered John Wick 4. Listen, or John Wick at all. I think they have dropped enough hints to let us know for sure that there is going to be another John Wick. I think the original plan might have been to kind of wrap him up, but all the comments that, Chad Stahelski has made and the head of Lionsgate has made, I think has pretty much sent the signal that they're going to do a fifth. It's just a matter of when. So, and I think they should do a fifth. I really do. Like, sometimes it's good to just let a franchise end, but I don't think we're there yet with John Wick. I really don't. I think there's more story to tell. All right, what's next?
Robert says, 0% chance Wesley shows up as Blade in Deadpool 3. Ryan and Wesley did not get along working on Blade Trinity.
That's not true.
Yeah, maybe they made up or something.
No, they never had a problem with each other. Now, Wesley Snipes' big problem, and the person he had the most beef with, was the director, David
Goyer.
David Goyer. He actually physically assaulted him, David Goyer, on set from everything we understand. But Ryan Reynolds even just said, like, a couple of years ago, somebody brought up Wesley Snipes' Blade, and Ryan Reynolds said, he's a tremendous actor. I love watching his work. He's so good and blah, blah. And apparently that's it. And listen, all I can tell you is, yes, he is going to be in Deadpool 3. Yeah, he is going to be there. All right, what's next?
We got Cody. Let's see, Mr. I with a $20 super chat. Here's my choices for deep cut cameos in Deadpool and Wolverine: Dolph Lundgren's Punisher, David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury, Matt Salinger's Captain America,
No.
Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, Corman's Fantastic Four, Lionsgate's 2004's Man Thing, and FX's Legion.
No, I can absolutely guarantee they won't bring in any FX network stuff because that's stuff that nobody will even understand. But I have not liked the idea of Lou Ferrigno showing up as Hulk. But I was talking to one of the viewers before the show started today, and they brought up, okay, not just straight up Lou Ferrigno Hulk. Lou Ferrigno as Maestro Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk from Old Man Logan. And I was like, oh, that's intriguing. What do you think about that one, Rob?
Dude, I love this idea. You know, the Maestro, there was that 2-part, was it Peter David who wrote it, where they introduced that character? And he's sitting there and his throne had all of they even made a great statue of this, had all of the artifacts from the MCU, like shattered, the Captain America shit, like he killed everybody. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that. And again, I think that bringing Lou Ferrigno back is something Ryan Reynolds would do. You know, I'm putting myself in his mindset because you get a sense of what he would do based on what he does in terms of marketing these movies and the way he just the way he introduced, hey, Hugh, what do you think about coming back as Wolverine in a new Deadpool movie? Sure, Ryan. You know, walking up the stairs and that. I mean,
now the other thing is Ferrigno's already done cameos in the Spider-Man movie and stuff like that. So does that take away from the specialness of maybe him doing it again?
No, because I think it's the Maestro or even something like that. He could be, dude, that would be badass. Look, if he would be an I Love You Man, you know, selling his house, come on. He would be up for it. It's just a question of whether because Ryan Reynolds would do it and make him cool. I want it.
What's next?
Cody Hunt says Liev Schreiber will be in it as Sabretooth, no question.
I am not so sure about that. And listen, I like the Liev Schreiber Sabretooth, but listen, definitely a possibility, but I wouldn't hold my breath for that one.
He said no question, John. Okay.
Yeah,
He said, that makes
we
it
don't
easy.
question it.
No
so.
question.
All right, what's next?
Chris Miner says, do you think we'll ever see the Eternals again?
Yes. Kevin Feige is very committed to Eternals. So now, whether or not we get Eternals 2, or we just have Eternals characters now start showing up in the MCU in general, that I don't know. But Kevin Feige seems pretty committed to the Eternals, so we'll see. All right, what's next?
Sanchez Guy says, hey guys, do you remember Sony's comedy trio, The Three Stooges? What is your favorite Stooge? Now, are they talking about when they did that remake?
I hope it's not the remake, because I couldn't even tell you a single person who was in the remake.
Well, because Sony didn't have The Three Stooges. That's from the 30s, so.
Mo.
Yeah, I think Mo. I mean, of course, they had the rotation. They had Mo and they had, who was the other one?
Well, there was Curly,
Shemp.
Shemp, and Curly.
Shemp.
Yeah, Shemp, right. Larry, Curly, and Mo or Shemp, or whatever. By the way, while I got my glass, speaking of Shemp, as Robert reminded me this morning, raise a glass to the 57th birthday of John Schnepp.
Sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king of the sweaties, forever may he reign. All right. What's
And he
next?
will.
All right, we got Dalvin, who says, Allen Iverson is my all-time favorite basketball player, despite his off-court antics. So it was amazing to see Ted Lasso turn his practice rant into something positive. Football is life.
Listen, Iverson, I never liked him because he would always beat my teams. Yeah. I mean, he never won a title or anything, but there are a few players, LeBron, Jordan, and Iverson was one of those guys that one of those few basketball players that just when they decided to take over a game, they were going to take over a game. And Iverson was just one of these dudes, man. He could just make the craziest stuff happen on the court. He was so fun to watch. So fun to watch. All right, what's next?
DJ says, you mentioned how in recent times the growth of tech has been huge. Do you think we will ever get teleportation, Doctor Strange version, or Star Trek?
I actually saw this little YouTube video once by, I think, the university. It wasn't Harvard, but it was one of those big university guys, just basically explaining why teleportation could never happen. Just like, sometimes you watch these videos where they talk about, here's why time travel can't ever actually be a real thing. Here's why and I can't remember all the way they broke it down, but no, teleportation I do not believe will ever be a thing. I hope I'm wrong, because that would be the coolest stuff in the world, but I don't think it'll ever be a thing. Rob, no bigger, fancier to the future guy than you. Do you think teleportation will ever be a thing?
No. I don't think, but I do think time travel will eventually be possible if we can get close to traveling at the speed of light, because there is time dilation and all that. We won't be able.
What they say we can't do. That's the part. That's the part they always say we won't be able to do.
Yeah, but we can't control it.
Right.
It's just a function of how the universe works, but we can't go back and forth through time.
All right, what's next?
And Mander says, "Happily heavenly birthday to Schnepp."
Oh, somebody remembered.
Someone remembered. Yeah.
Thank you for that, man. All right, what's next?
Raymond says there's a Blue Angels IMAX documentary. Ray, have you heard about
Ray's already got his tickets.
Yeah.
Produced by Bad Robot and Amazon. There's a feature video with Glenn Powell and J.J. Abrams. More Need for Speed.
It's funny. Ray and I were talking before the show today, because it's like, well, yeah, like Ray was. I think Ray started the conversation. Do you think they're going to show any of the accidents? I said, I don't think there've always been air show accidents, but I don't think Blue Angels have ever had an air incident, an air accident. So give me a second, and I looked it up. I'm like, oh, they've had several. People have died.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go see that at 7 tonight. I'm very excited about it.
I'm in watching If. You'll be watching Blue Angels.
Yeah, see, that's the only negative about it, is that I can't go see If, because the times just run into each other.
I will say, John, growing up in Seattle, every year we have a big thing called Seafair, where the unlimited hydroplanes race, and I've been, since I was a little kid, loving it. And the Blue Angels perform every year over Lake Washington, and spectacular. They never cease to amaze me.
Marcus Y, and a callback to yesterday. Marcus Y wrote in the live chat, John will go back in time to watch the disaster from his helicopter.
Yeah, you know what?
You're just gonna watch
It's a little
pretty good.
suspicious, because he after the show, he's like, when did the Hindenburg go up in flames? I'm like, I'm not telling you.
I want to see that. That sounds like fun.
They made a movie about that.
You can't interfere.
They made a movie about time travelers that go back in time. It's called The Grand Tour. David Toohey, Riddick
Yeah,
fame,
I
wrote it.
remember that.
Jeff Daniels.
All right, what's next?
Kevin's with a $50 super chat.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, man. That's incredibly generous, dude.
He says, "Hey, John and crew, Blade is 100% gonna unalive Morbius. That theory is just so awesome. In Deadpool 3, could we possibly see Doctor Doom in the movie? I'm leaning towards no, but that would be so awesome."
I don't see any reality that they introduce Doctor Doom in the movie. Now, an old version of Doctor Doom from one of the other Fantastic Four movies, maybe, possibly, I guess. But there is no way Matt Shakman would ever want, especially if he's planning on bringing in Doctor Doom, he will never want that character introduced as a quick cameo in some other movie.
Agreed.
I mean, look, I don't know. I don't have a hotline to Kevin Feige to give me all the inside scoop. I'm just saying I have a very, very hard time imagining that. And we're not going to see Blade kill Morbius, because there's no way Sony will let Morbius be in that movie. Not a chance they'll let them do that. But I don't know, Rob, chances we see Doctor Doom?
Probably zero, because I agree with you. He's too big of a character. You can't just, I mean, a variant of him maybe, but I can't imagine it. I just don't see it happening. Why would you do that?
And I mean, even like that list we made yesterday, if 10% of all those names are even in that film.
Agreed. Yeah. We just know there's going to be cameos.
Yeah.
We're just trying to guess which ones it'll be.
Look, when we were making that list, it was goofy fun and all that, but the movie still has to work as a movie.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, the thing about the first Deadpool is it worked as the fourth wall breaking Merc with a mouth, but it also was a really good story.
Yeah.
And it worked as a film, both as a superhero film, as a romance, as a tragedy, as a character study. It was a real, and they've got to do that with this movie, and they've already got Wolverine in it, and that's enough. So it better be good.
All right, what's next?
Never Lose Your Nerd says X-Men 97 finale was epic and a continuation of my favorite show ever. The En Sabah cameo has me so excited, and hope to see Rise of Apocalypse comic.
Yeah, I listen, overall, again, I stayed up to midnight to make sure I could watch it the moment that it dropped. I had a really good time with X-Men 97. I personally think it's overrated.
Yeah.
In the sense that, John, you just said you really liked it. Yes, I really liked it. I hear a lot of people talking as if it's like some like huge epic sort, and I just don't see it that way. I think it was a great thing for what it was. It was very quick, Twitter-like entertainment, and they delivered, and I had a really good time with it. But I just think it's being overhyped by some people, but that's just me. Again, in a thumbs up or thumbs down world, I am on team thumbs up with X-Men 97. I had a blast with it. What about you, Rob?
I did too, but like you said, the breakneck storytelling, I mean, it was great to see all these classic X-Men stories touched on, but it's not like they were developed to the point where it wasn't Shogun.
There was no development.
Yeah, it was just zip through
Yes.
this stuff. And like, I was not as emotional. It's cool as an animated show, but I was not emotionally invested. I was like, oh, wow, that's neat. I thought it was cool.
But it's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of
That was
fun.
a hoot.
All right, what's next?
Charles Becerra asks, last time you visited a Sugar Shack, mon ami?
If I'm thinking of the right one, Sugar Shack, they have one in Vegas, right? I think that's the one where Ann and I ran. I think it was me, Ann, and Stan, and I think we actually ran into Shaquille O'Neal there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but that was years ago. That was like 6 or 7 years ago since I've been to one. All right, what's next?
OV Football says, can you watch X-Men 97 without seeing the original?
Yes, 100% you can. Although, you'll get added appreciation if you watch the original first. But yes, no problem. You can just drop right in because they set it up pretty well for you that way. So you'd have no problem, I don't think. All right, what's next?
Oscar Herrera says, so much death. Absolutely amazing finale for X-Men 97. My favorite Marvel TV show. Crossing my fingers for a short wait for season 2.
I think I'd put it as my third or fourth favorite one that they've done. Like, obviously WandaVision is top of that. I think for me, Ms. Marvel is still number 2. I think X-Men 97 might bump out Loki season 2 for me as my third favorite, or Loki season 2 would be 3 and X-Men 97 would be 4. But listen, in a world where Marvel shows on Disney Plus have been very hit or miss, this is one of the hits. This is in the top spot, in the top half of it. This is definitely one of the hits. All right, what's next?
Moving on to our member questions. Brandon says, so happy that Three Body Problem was renewed for season 2 yesterday.
Yes, which I forgot. I'm just so wrapped up in how good the show was. I forgot it hadn't been officially greenlit yet. So hearing that is very, very satisfying to me.
I have a question for you, though.
Okay.
It said they have greenlit it for additional episodes. They didn't say it was like a season 2. There's 3 more books, or there's a total of 3 books. And while season 1 did dip into books 2 and 3, do you think we're going to get a full season? How many episodes?
I didn't read the story. I just saw a headline, Three Body Problem. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that it hadn't been renewed yet. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
I don't know.
It said additional episodes.
Because I'm not interested in additional episodes. I'm interested in season 2. I mean, look, let me take that back. Of course I'll watch additional episodes. But I mean, I'm interested in, why not just greenlight season 2?
Well, I think I don't know if they're calling it that. I don't know what that means, because it was 8 episodes and they did delve into books 2 and 3 a little bit. So they could do additional episodes and round it out, but so much happens. Dude, those books get so bonkers. The first season didn't even touch the surface of what's going to happen.
Do you think then? Again, remember, I'm talking now as somebody who did not read the actual report. Okay, so I'm asking this. So forgive me if this is a dumb sounding question. Do you think it's possible in this world of streaming that they may have greenlit just a couple of extra episodes to see if the show caught on and to see if people actually come before actually committing to a full second season? To say, here, make 3 extra episodes and let's see if people come back to watch it? Or what do you think they're thinking?
I don't know. I think they'd have to either commit or not, because the show seems to have legs. People continue to watch it and discover it, and word of mouth. I think the reason they did this is because it's held on for a while. It wasn't just 1 week and then gone. I think it's consistently had great viewership. I mean, I've watched it all the way through 3 times. I haven't done that in a long time.
Wow.
All right, what's next?
So fun's forever.
Arterial says, do you have a favorite slasher film?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a cheat because it's a bit of a spoof, but it's not Freddy, it's not Jason, it's not Michael. It's Leslie Vernon. It's Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which is both super smart, incredibly funny, and legit great little slasher film. If I know a lot of you guys still haven't seen Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, watch it. It's great. Do you got a favorite slasher?
Oh my God, there's so many. But you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is the very first Miramax movie, The Burning, with Cropsey. But that's not a great movie.
Happy Death Day is a slasher, right?
Oh yeah.
I'll give it. I liked Happy Death.
It's good.
That's a fun movie.
Did you guys ever see the sequel?
Yep.
Yes, I didn't think it was as good as the first one, but it was still charming and fun and delightful.
I like My Bloody Valentine a lot too.
Oh yeah, that
Wow.
was good too.
Yeah.
That one wasn't bad. All right. What? I said
I'm
that
just
one
saying.
wasn't bad.
I just like the.
It's not bad.
Bro.
All right, what's next?
Rob Buck says, my fantasy cameo for Deadpool v Wolverine, champion of chimichangas, the one and only Sean William Scott as Deadpool variant, and Walker Scoville as a young Wade. Make it happen, Kevin.
I don't know if you can find Sean William Scott today. I said that. But Walker Scoville, yeah, the kid who played the younger version of Ryan Reynolds in Project at the Adam Project,
Yeah.
who is now our Percy Jackson. Him coming in as a young version, that would be kind of fun. And listen, let's be clear here. When we're talking about cameos, the quality of the movie is not dependent on cameos.
Right.
Like, it's not like, oh, cameos will make the movie good. None of us are saying, nobody is saying that. We just know that in a multiversal kind of movie, there are going to be a bunch of cameos, and we're just trying to speculate which ones will be there. None of them have to be there, but that would be a fun little one. The Walker Scoville as a young Deadpool, that would be kind of cool.
You know who I wanted to bring up that I
Yeah.
was thinking that would be cool for this particular movie is Kelly Hu coming back as Deathstrike.
Oh,
She's in the trailer.
Is that her though? Actually,
I believe that's actually her in front of the Ant-Man head and stuff like that.
because I didn't know if they were going
think
to
we
bring
see
her
her
back
there.
or not. I mean, I knew Deathstrike was going to be in the film, but was it
Yeah,
Kelly
I
Hu?
think we see her in the trailer. So
I
we'll go back and take a look.
I love her. I mean, I thought she was great.
Actually, guys in the live chat, help us out here. That was her? I thought that was her. Jump into the live chat.
Yeah, I
let
didn't
us
know if it was
that
her or
for
not,
sure was
but
or if
I
I'm
want
mistaken.
her specifically.
Right, because I could be mistaken, but I think it was her. So go ahead, folks in the live chat. Go ahead and let us know if we're right.
Because we
wrong
got
with that.
Aaron, we got Aaron coming back as Pyro.
Pyro. Yep. And yeah, people in the live chat are saying yes, it's her.
It is.
All right, what's next?
Rocco says, hey, John and crew, you forgot the animals in the list yesterday. I'm going for a rocket, alligator, Loki, or a Cosmo. Keep up the great work.
He doesn't have time. They don't have
To me, it's not a CG thing. Is not a cameo. I don't think. I'm thinking an actual actor and something like that. That's why I think. I don't think anybody will really care about the other ones.
Plus, he has his little dog in the trailer. His little dog that he.
Well,
picks
he's
up.
got the little dog pool.
Dog pool.
Yep. So there's that. But that's not a. I mean, it's in the trailer, so we know that's confirmed, right? All right. All right. What's next?
All right, Luis says that he had a lot of fun with the Deadpool top 25 cameo segment yesterday.
I missed that. What did you say?
He had a lot of fun with our top 25 cameo segment.
Oh, we got a lot of feedback on that. That was a fun segment for us to do yesterday, and
I also have a feeling that we missed a lot too. We
I'm
missed a lot of
sure.
names too.
I'm sure.
Like there's something that's someone's gonna bring up that's gonna be so obvious we're gonna be like, what?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I believe there's probably going to be 2 or 3 in the movie that none of us predicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it was just fun to guess. All right, what's next?
Speaking of, Aaron says you didn't put in your list of cameos yesterday, but do you think that Spider-Man will be in Deadpool 3?
I actually don't. I don't think an Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland. I listen, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying, no, I don't think. Do you think they're going to put one in?
No.
There'll be a mention at least.
Think
Someone's
so?
gonna make
Why?
a comment just to make sure.
Like maybe a joke?
No, just like like if someone's running down on things like trying to tell Deadpool what's going on, and then someone will mention a spider or whatever, something like that. It might be mentioned, but I don't think he's going to be in it. An appearance, no.
By the way, I just got a text from my business guy who said, you know how we talked about that Hiroyuki Sanada has signed on to do a second season?
He's going to be in Deadpool.
They've just Lord Toranaga is going to be.
Toranaga-sama.
Ask Paul Walter Hauser.
And no, they've just made it official. There are 2 more seasons of Shogun coming.
Oh,
Wow.
They've just announced 2 more seasons 2 and 3.
damn.
Shogun. So we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk more about that tomorrow. All right, what's next?
All right. Going on to the with more of this theme on Deadpool, do you think Blake Lively would be Lady Deadpool? From Scotty doesn't know.
Let me put it this way. I would love it. I think there's something so beautifully appropriate about it as well. To have the real life Lady Deadpool be Lady Deadpool in it. I do not think, though, I think both Ryan and Blake would probably both go, no, that's too much us.
Yeah.
I think they would feel like, no, that's just too much us, and I don't think they'll do it. By the way, I don't know if you still got my NDI there, Jonathan.
You can't tell me she's not one of the top people that you would pick to play that part.
100%.
Man.
100%.
Yeah. Even without them
There's-
even dating.
There's one of my favorite days doing my job when I got to get together and chat with Blake Lively. That was a good day.
They're
Should you
married,
tell her
right?
that Age of Adeline is one of the great movies of the modern
Oh, she's
age?
so good. And by the way, if any of you have still not seen this little film that Blake Lively did with Anna Kendrick and Henry Golding
Oh, yeah.
called A Simple Favor.
I still have not seen that, and it's on my list.
Dude, it's so good.
It's on my list.
It is so good. It's a really, really wonderful little
She's
film.
great.
She's wonderful.
I love her.
And you know what? I love her and Ryan have got this rule. It's like only one of us make a movie at a time.
Right.
That they really
Like
make
family life
their
kinda.
yeah, they make their kids stability. And Ryan is like, hey, you know what? I've done mine now. Now I'm staying at home for the next 4 months while you go off and do a movie next.
I don't see how that guy has time to stay home at any time.
Well, he can run his business from home, I
No,
guess.
I know.
But I mean, her as Lady Deadpool as a cameo would be so perfect, but I just don't think they
The
do
way
it.
they troll each other on social media, the
Is
dialogue.
gold.
If they came up with a scene together about just to destroy each other verbally, could be a thing of beauty.
Did they go back?
I
and
mean, it
forth
could be.
on
Oh,
social
oh
media?
yeah,
Epic.
yeah. They've done that a lot.
Epic.
One of the best ones ever, and I don't know if I can remember it. I might be. It's something like this, but it's like, yeah, I think it was Ryan Reynolds' birthday, and I think there was this picture of Blake with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds,
Oh.
and she posted this picture for Ryan Reynolds' birthday, just happy birthday, but she'd cut Ryan out of the picture, and it's just her with Hugh Jackman, and they're. But you know who? You know what's even better than when they're trolling each other? I know this is horrible. It's when Ryan Reynolds trolls his own children. It is one of the best, funniest things I've ever seen, but at any rate. But no, I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. All right, what's next?
Real Life Entertainment says, I know it came out yesterday, but I was really underwhelmed by the Wicked trailer. Did they show more at CinemaCon?
Oh, they showed a lot at CinemaCon. I think the trailer they showed was good. I thought it was a good trailer. I think purposefully they try to make, because the movie doesn't feel this way, but I think they try to make a trailer that was going to kind of appeal to the Harry Potter audience a little bit. And I get that. But yeah, the stuff they've shown us at CinemaCon for the last 2 years in a row, this is going to be a really good movie, and it's going to be really big. I'm not saying it's going to be $1 billion film, but it's going to be a big, big film. And yeah. Hang tight. All right, what's next?
We got CJ Rebirth says, Rogue is my favorite character of the X-Men 97 season overall. Makes me wish now they'd done more with the Anne Paquin version, though I'm still a fan of her because that was my introduction to the character.
Here's the problem with X-Men. There are just too many of them, and everybody wants their character to have more time on them, right? And there's just no way. And by the way, there's about 100 million people whose favorite X-Men have never even been in it yet, because there's just that many X-Men and that many characters. I thought Anna Paquin as Rogue was great. I mean, we never got to see her as the classic Rogue with the Captain Marvel powers and all that kind of stuff. But I think Anna Paquin was wonderful in the role. It was really fun finally seeing the deleted Rogue stuff from X-Men Days
And the
of Future
rogue
Past.
cut.
Yeah, the rogue cut. It was really cool seeing that. I kind of wish they left it in, but I get it.
Well,
wanted
you
to
can
trim
get it.
down.
I mean, you can get that. There's 2 versions of Days of Future Past that you can get, and one is the rogue cut with all that stuff incorporated back into the movie.
All you gotta do is jump on YouTube and look up the road cut deleted scenes. It's all there. It's really fun.
The movie's good though, and by the way, I have it on
movie's
physical
great.
media if you want to borrow it.
The
I'm pretty
movie
sure the
is
answer is no.
great. All right, what's next?
Brandon says, I just read a tweet from a critic on that that said The Strangers Chapter 1 obliterates Madam Web in the race towards worst movie of the year.
Oh no!
Oh,
I-
really?
I think it just be one critic saying that. Then
First
not
of
all
all-
but
slashers
still.
or whatever.
I don't even know why they made this movie. What's the movie called again? Strangers.
Chapter 1.
Um,
Chapter.
Chapter 1, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what they're saying over on Rotten Tomatoes about it. Right now, with 24 reviews, got 25%.
No. Oh, now I know why. Someone skipping out.
I became a stranger when I first found a
Hey,
mask
so-
and put it on.
So I guess they're watching If tonight. That's it.
Listen, I've never really known why they were making this movie, but you know what? Maybe I'm going to skip it now. I'm supposed to do it. I'm supposed to do a double header tonight of Strangers, Chapter 1 and If, and maybe I will take a pass on Strangers. Now that I'm reading this, I
Go
might.
see the Blue Angels documentary with
Maybe
Ray.
I'll go. No, because that's playing when
Yeah,
If is
cross it
playing.
over.
Oh, well.
But I might have to take a skip on this one now.
Well,
All right, what's next?
Christopher says, hey, John, have you seen the new action movie One More Shot on Netflix? It's really good. Why don't they put these movies out in theaters?
I've never even heard of it.
me either.
I mean, hey, that's Netflix for you.
One More Shot. That was like my theme every time I went out for drinks with my friends.
One more shot.
That was my theme when I tried to get a date with this one girl in high school who turned me down repeatedly.
No more shots.
No more shots.
No
with you,
more
babe.
shots. The movie. No, again, in classic Netflix, I love Netflix. I love Netflix, but they are the worst at promoting their own material. I've never even heard of it. So, all right, what's next?
Oh, it's with Scott Adkins.
Oh, Scott's in it?
and Michael Jai White.
Oh, well, then we have to watch it.
Yeah,
Shit. I mean,
Wow.
I
2024 it just came out.
I love both of these guys.
Yeah.
Michael Jai White, I absolutely adore. Scott Adkins, who we had on our show not long ago,
He's the
super
best.
love him.
Dude, I really like.
But again, Netflix. What are you doing? Like, I've never even heard of the movie.
The last Michael Jai White film I watched was that Blood and Bone, Bone and Blood, whatever it's called. You guys, no. Okay, bye.
Well, he also did that one. He did that No Retreat, No Surrender 2, whatever it was, right? He was actually really good in it. The movie's a little cheesy, but it's Michael Jai White. He's awesome. Guys, again, I can't bring up Michael Jai White without bringing up his blaxploitation spoof movie,
Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite's so good.
You still haven't seen the next one, the Western one.
No, I never did see the Western one though. I never
went and
got
saw
around
it, but
to
I
it.
can't think of the name now.
But guys, if get a couple of buddies together, get some adult beverages, sit down and watch Black Dynamite. Yeah, it's so fun. It's such a fun movie. All right, what's next?
All right. We got Culture Wars Diplomacy. Which Henry Cavill project do you think we'll see first, Highlander or Warhammer? And do you think they'll both be made? And which one do you think has the better success?
Highlander will come out before Warhammer.
Further
'cause-
along in
Yeah,
development.
he's already training for Warhammer. Or sorry, he's already training for
For,
Highlander. So that one will be next. Which one will be bigger? I don't know. The reality is Warhammer, in as much as it is very popular in certain circles, it's not widely known. Right?
I have no idea what Warhammer is.
Case in point.
But here's the thing. These things, the designs on these guys look really, really
Oh, they're
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know anything about it, but I
Hold it towards your face. It'll be in focus.
Yeah. So if I think I would actually go see it just for the design of these characters. If it looks cool, yeah.
I
So-
remember my buddy, you guys, for those of you who've been with me a long time, my buddy, Rodney Brazeau, who used to do movie blog stuff with me and used to do the first few episodes of Jedi Council that we ever did. But he got me into Warhammer at first and he went all out, man. He had his entire living room was all
Oh,
cleared out, just
geez.
have huge tables with all the sets and all the things. And people get obsessed. I've got a surgeon friend of mine, like a surgeon, and he is obsessed with buying Warhammer figures and painting them.
Is it a tabletop game?
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Where you have all your figures on the table. You use these measuring sticks to measure movements and shot radiuses and explosion radiuses.
So wait, so every single person you move by it themselves?
Yes.
How long of? Oh my god!
It-
what
You
a
get
long
it. By the
game.
way, and you should know Henry Cavill's favorite army is Custodes, if you want to know.
Oh, I don't know.
If you delved into Warhammer, I warn you before doing it, because it's a rabbit hole you will not get out of.
Oh no, thank you.
You're gonna love it. You'll love it.
I mean, listen, you should come with us sometime, because Ann and I every once in a while will just go, hey, let's go to a game shop where we go and look at like Dungeons and Dragons stuff, whatever. But they always have big Warhammer
Oh
sections.
man, I'll look at those.
Dude,
You would get it would bankrupt you.
Yeah,
it would
it-
totally
it- yeah.
you would get obsessed with
I'm
it.
surprised you even watch the YouTube videos of the guys that collect them and like have like the whole staging.
Yeah, dude, you would get totally obsessed with it and it would
man, that's
bankrupt
too
you.
much, too much.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Okay. Derek Sanchez says, "Hey crew, hope all is well. Two things. Have you heard that what's happening with Bruce Willis is very sad? What were two of your favorite movies of mine? Or mine was original Die Hard, Fifth Element. Second, do you think the Deadpool will lead into Secret Wars during the movie? A possible post-credits scene?"
No, I don't think Deadpool's gonna be connected
No,
that way at all.
'cause that's too down.
With the Bruce Willis stuff, it's incredibly heartbreaking. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember it was about 3 months ago. I think one of his family members just let everybody know that he no longer can verbally communicate. So that part's gone. But apparently, like his mental faculties are all there, right? So that's good from what I understand. I could be wrong, but that's from what I understand. My favorite two movies of his are obviously the first Die Hard. Actually, the third Die Hard is my favorite Die Hard, the one with Jeremy Irons. Good Lord.
As Simon Gruber.
Yep, I love that. So, but I'll just put Die Hard. Okay, I'll put that in there. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones. But the one I'm going to throw out is The Whole Nine Yards that he did with the late great Michael Clark Duncan and the late Matthew Perry. I loved The Whole Nine Yards. They made a sequel that was terrible, but I mean, I loved The Whole Nine Yards a lot. And then what's the one he did
I love the kid
with the Wayans? The Wayans guy.
Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout, where he does
Tony
the
Scott
jig,
directed.
where he does the jig at the end. I really like that one too. But if you're asking for two, I'm going to say Die Hard as a general umbrella one, and The Whole Nine Yards. So what about you, Rob?
Dude, I'm going to say this. I don't care. I will apologize for this to no one. Hudson Hawk. I love Hudson
It's a
Hawk.
classic.
I love it. People don't love it. I love it. And of course, I love the original Die Hard. I do love The Fifth Element. I love Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
But he's
Rachel
not-
Knight
saw that.
Online also reminded me of Armageddon. I love Armageddon. Everybody hates Armageddon, but I
guilty
love
pleasure.
Armageddon. Armageddon's so
It
good.
was one of those rare times where it came out with deep impact. So you got to choose whether you
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
the sci-fi one or you wanted the more
Yeah,
reality.
they did that with
based.
Volcano with
Volcano and Dante's
Dante's
Peak.
Peak, yeah.
Yeah.
Volcano's better.
Dante's Peak is better.
Volcano's awesome.
All right, what's next?
All right. Rob, would you like to swing on a star?
I would.
Getting too old for this says, when do you think we'll hear news of Wonder Woman's future, assuming Gal is out?
Oh, yeah, Gal's definitely out. I don't know, whenever they can find an actual good actress to play her.
That's just out
By
of
the way,
Come on, man.
I
Come on.
appreciate Gal. I'm like, listen, I've never hit it. I'm not going to be facetious. I don't think she is a particularly strong performer, but everything I've seen of her, gosh, she just seems so likable. Like every time I see her doing like I remember when she held court during the very first DC Fandom. She was great. Like I really do like her a lot, and I hope she continues to have a career and all that kind of stuff. But I am looking forward to a more capable performer playing Wonder Woman. I don't really know. I don't think she's in Phase 1's plans. I got the feeling she's not in the Phase 1 plans right now. They got a lot going on.
Hey,
over
I'm
there.
excited about Supergirl, man.
Yeah,
Bring
they
it.
just announced they're saying 2026.
Yeah.
with,
But she'll,
Supergirl.
she'll debut in the Superman movie, right?
Yes,
And
they've
then
already cast her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've cast her. It's
of
from
the
House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Girls playing her. I'm very excited about that as well. All right, what's next?
Okay. JMH says, will Horizon and American Saga Part 1 make any money? Kevin Costner self-financed the $110 million Western. I don't see it making more than Killers of the Flower Moon, which topped out at 160. Was that 110 for both Part 1 and 2?
I don't know. He says he's going to make like 8 of them, whatever.
Okay.
He came out on stage at CinemaCon, did a big presentation for it. Will it be a big hit? I don't think so. Will it make more than Killers of the Flower Moon? Yes. Because do not underestimate the popularity of Yellowstone. And while this is not Yellowstone, it's him doing the old Western kind of thing. So will it be a $500 million movie? I don't think so. But will it make money? I think it will. I really do, just because it's still Kevin Costner coming off the popularity of Yellowstone. I think it will. I don't know. What about you, Rob?
First of all, I love Kevin Costner in Westerns, Silverado, Dances with Wolves, Open Range. Give me some Costner. I love it. I think this is a passion project for him, but I'll tell you something, while I will love Kevin Costner forever. So he directed a movie after Dances with Wolves called The Postman.
Yep.
Based on David.
A much maligned movie.
Okay, a much maligned film. I saw it at the Steve Ross Theater on the Warner Brothers lot, and he came out and introduced it. And he said he was so excited. I saw a filmmaker just beaming to show his movie to the audience. And he said, listen, I only wish that I could be out there in the audience with you today. That's how excited he was. He was so proud. And I watched that movie and I freaking loved it. I love The Postman as much as I love Hudson Hawk. I did not understand. I was so elated when I saw that movie. Will Patton is a villain.
Yeah,
Tom Petty shows up as Tom Petty, based on a science fiction novel about how the U.S. mail is what the country is all about. And people didn't like it.
It was back to back kind
People
of
didn't
flops
like it.
because you had Waterworld and The Postman. And
Damn, I love that movie.
All right. What's next?
Amin says, when should we expect the next Inside Out 2 trailer? Film is less than a month away. I know they showed you guys the first 30 minutes, but we still haven't really seen much from the film or the story.
Well, we shouldn't get the full story.
Yeah.
I think the basic premise of it is pretty clear, that Riley is now older, getting into her preteens years. There's a whole new slew of emotions that are coming in as a part of it. We'll get a little bit more. I don't really think we need to know much more. I think they'll probably step up the marketing campaign in a few weeks. It was when they'll really put it into overdrive. Right now, I don't think there's a need to do too much at this point, but probably a few more weeks. All right, what's next?
Mr. Max says, out of the possible 6 superhero films next year, Cap 4, F4, Beyond the Spider-Verse, Superman, and Blade, which do you think will end up being the best, and also which has the biggest chance to disappoint? Blade could be the biggest chance to disappoint.
I don't know if a lot of people have high hopes for Blade.
I guess so.
I don't think everybody's Ray.
Superman could then, if you're with that logic, then
Yes,
be the biggest.
I think Superman has the potential to be the biggest disappointment because it's the one that a lot of people have their most hopes wrapped up in, right? So I think that I think it's an easy call. What's going to be the best film? It's going to be Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
It's just
it's a track record.
I mean, look at the track record. Yeah, I don't have much doubt that will end up being the best one.
If you minus that one from this list, then it makes it interesting. It makes it much more of a.
Yeah, but then I still think it's going to be Superman. I do think Superman will be the best one because it's James Gunn directing it.
I think it's Superman as both.
Yeah, it's
It has
both.
the potential to be the most disappointing and the best.
Yeah. I mean, look, what has James Gunn done? Oh, he's done Guardians of the Galaxy, and he did
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, which was like phenomenal. So, but that also sets it up that it could be very, very disappointing. So we'll see. All right. 2 more questions. What's next?
Okay. Sean Motley says, how are you guys doing? Do you know why John Boyega spoke in an American accent during the sequel trilogies, but Daisy Ridley and Donald Gleason did not? Well, Donald Gleason spoke in a British accent because that makes him sound evil.
Because all the Imperial officers always sounded that way.
And she was clearly, a granddaughter of the Empire. So.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. There's. Why did they do this? I don't know. They didn't want them all to sound that way. Other than that, I really don't think it matters. All right, what's
It
next?
would have changed the whole movie. Though.
All right, this is actually the last one. Comics thing says, I'll move it up here. Question, it's official. I've watched every Spider-Man movie in theaters. Oh, that's cool because they were re-releasing them all.
Yeah.
Which led me to this question between Toby, Tom, and Andrew. Which Spider is your favorite and why?
It's always been Andrew Garfield. I love all 3 of them. Love all 3 of them. But Andrew Garfield's been my favorite. And No Way Home really cemented that for me. Like seeing him in No Way Home cement again. And I love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but there was just something he brought to it. I thought he was the best balance of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I just thought he was the best balance of it. Although, look, I've got no argument that with anybody who says that Tom Holland's their favorite. I got no argument with anybody who says Tobey Maguire's their favorite. To me, they're 1A and 1B. I mean, but for me, it's Andrew Garfield. What about you?
I love Tom Holland as Peter Parker. My problem is I don't love those movies.
Really?
I mean, they're good.
Get out of here.
But I don't love them the way I loved Spider-Man 2. Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
I'm wondering.
I think, you know what they are to me? They're too overstuffed.
Yeah, but to that, I wonder if we'll like the new trilogy now that he's actually.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was about to say that I think the next Spider-Man movie will probably be my favorite, because it'll be stripped down and it'll be less hopeful. Yeah, hopefully, because I like the idea. I felt like if you take the Spider-Man out of Spider-Man 2, take all the action out. I love the relationship between Peter Parker and Peter Parker and Octo Octavius. I thought that mentor-student relationship was a great thing, and there was a lot of tragedy and pathos there. Whereas the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have too much going on with Iron Man and all that, the MCU of it all. I really have always wanted to see, and I thought like the first half of the first Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire, was wonderful. I loved it. I don't know what that says about me, but...
All right, guys. And that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Happy birthday, Snap.
Jonathan Voico.
See you guys tomorrow.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I hope you're swinging on a star.
My name, of course, is John Campea. Thanks for being here, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.
Rob, you're in Furiosa? Rubiosa. Downtown Saga.
Rubiosa.
Rubiosa. A Pound Town Saga.
Hilarious.